Hey everybody, it's Tanya Smith here, and I am excited and thrilled to be with you yet another Thursday in the year 2021. I'm here, I'm healthy, I'm here. Those are all good things, right? Anyway, let's dive into the topic we're going to talk about tonight. As a matter of fact, let me introduce myself to those of you who are fairly new or this is your first time watching. So I am Tanya Smith of Get Noticed with Video. You'll find a lot of my information at getnoticedwithvideo.com. Let me welcome in. Oh, thank you, Miss Pat. Your intros are so cool. You'll find that a lot of my videos talk about content strategy, but specifically related to video because I like sharing simple ways that service providers can leverage video to build your social influence, to engage in more, productive and engaging conversations with people. And that's one of the things that we're all aching for right now. Conversations, right? So this is what I decided to do. And thank you so much. It's good to be here with you as well. Let me say this to my video VIPs community, and I'm going to put my little banner up with my invite here. For those of you who are not part of the VIP community, we have a group on Facebook at Video VIPs. So facebook.com/group/video VIPs. You can see that at the bottom scrolling. And one of the reasons why I enjoy this community so much is, first of all, these folks are there with the intention of learning more about how to use video content more responsibly, more effectively, and simply in their businesses. So we have discussions. In fact, we have one tomorrow, an office hours call, where we've got open Q&A, and we just have all kinds of different perks. So I always have to give a shout out to my folks that are in the video VIP community. And I'm going to share this with you all. And thank you so much, Miss Yo-Yo Show. We're going to talk about Clubhouse tonight. Clubhouse. I'm going to share with you, I am not doing my formal, really polished, let's do everything in order type of show tonight. I'm just going to have conversation. So if you're in the VIPs community, you have the StreamYard link. And if you want to come on camera and do a question on screen, I'm going to open that up a little later on in the show. But you can join in if you're in the video VIPs community, because I know that this is a vetted group there versus just opening it up to each and every person that's watching right now. But feel free to submit your questions also in the chat, because I'm looking through the comments. And yes, love your conversations, our conversations. They are our conversations, ma'am. Yes, they are. And Bridget, it's wonderful to see you as well as Victoria. Thank you. So look, we're going to talk about Clubhouse, and we're just going to get real with this. One of the things that I love to do, and I always have, is to really kind of dive into new technology, new apps, software. I mean, I'm just kind of a geek like that. Like even growing up, we used to, even though we lived in the projects and sometimes we didn't have a home, when we could get our hands on any type of computer technology or equipment, it was cool because we had an opportunity to really just kind of, I'm trying to turn this off. There we go. We had an opportunity to just play with it and kind of take ourselves to a whole different world. So I had an Atari. Does anybody remember an Atari? I'm really dating myself right now. And you can tell, again, this one is going to be a little bit more conversational versus as focused as normal. So forgive me a little bit, but I need some levity right now. I think we all can use a little levity right now. But I've always been that geek. And so when Clubhouse came out, my first question was, do I have time to learn yet another social platform? Do I really want to spend the time to do that? So we're going to talk about that. I want to talk to you about my real feelings, my first impressions, things I'm going to give the side eye. I actually created a topic. That's one of my titles, a section we're going to talk about is what made me have a side eye on Clubhouse, and what are the things that I really, really like and enjoy so far. I'm also going to share what it is. Yes, Miss Victoria. Right, girl. So I'm going to share what it is, because some of you, when I sent this out in my VIP community, were like, what is that? What's Clubhouse, huh? So we need to talk about what it is. I'm going to actually do a demo, because I went ahead and set up my app so that I can show you on my iPad what this looks like. So I'm going to walk you through the app and some of the tips and the tricks. So this one may be a little bit longer than our normal one, because I do have a little extra time tonight. So always a trailblazer, I try to be. But really, I'm just a geek like that. I just want to know. I'm curious, like, what my goal tonight is not so much to try to be pretending that I'm some type of savvy expert at Clubhouse, because I'm not. I have a small group of followers right now. I'm still learning the app. And honestly, I was super skeptical about diving in. What I'm going to do is to come at this from the perspective of, hey, I've tried it, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion and thoughts about ways that you might be able to use this, because I'm a video girl, and some of you are video and podcasters and other type of media too. And so I want to share with you some thoughts that I have right now at this moment, and maybe we'll do another one in a couple months and see if we have some different thoughts. But I'm going to share real and honest, authentic opinions and impressions, and I will do a demo. I know, Bridget, we're going to talk about that. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Michelle, hey. So Michelle has been on the she's been on the stage, as they call it, with me too. I'll show you what this whole thing looks like in a few minutes. But she's been on the stage with me in Clubhouse, as well as Latara and Sherelle, and let's see, and Sonia. So all of us have been on stage together in a Clubhouse event, a couple of them now. We're going to do some regularly every couple of weeks. Yes, Delana, I'm going to, I promise, girl. Okay. So let's dive in. Let's talk about that. But before I do that, I cannot forget this one thing. And then I'm going to bring this up again later on too. Tomorrow, this is an important day. We open registration for the Let's Go Live Challenge. So, you know, if you've been with me and following for some time, that what we try to do every month, and we missed a few months, but we did most of the months in the year 2020. In 2021, we're going to be delivering the Let's Go Live Challenge, and you go to letsgolivechallenge.com to find out more information. But registration will open up tomorrow at noon Central. This is our 5-day challenge to help you to learn a simple system for going live so that you can get support and encouragement and a little nudge and some love, right? And some strategy as to how to go live. So if you're interested in that and you're feeling like you need to put your toe in the water, that's where you need to be. Okay, let's talk about Clubhouse. Clubhouse. So first of all, what is it? Clubhouse is, oh my gosh, you bet me. Thank you. I'm a fan of yours too, ma'am. We're just going to be mutual fans. Clubhouse is an app that is a it is an audio only app. It's like, for those of you who have been around in marketing for some time, Blog Talk Radio. Do you remember that? So Blog Talk Radio was kind of like where you could create your own podcast, kind of radio show style. So you could have guests on, and you would be on, and you would be asking questions, and y'all would just kind of be going back and forth in a discussion. Well, Clubhouse is kind of like an expanded version of this thing, but minus the recording feature. And instead, it's a room full of people. It can be a room full of people who are there to have conversation and discussion about a themed topic. So something that, if you're the host of the room and you created the room, if you create the room, you create the topic and the title, right? And you schedule it, and people can be pinged or invited to participate. And when they participate, they can either be lurkers, so they listen in. So there's 3 levels, right? Inside the room, at the very top, and I'm going to show you what this looks like in a minute, but I have to be careful because I don't think I want to go into somebody's actual room, or maybe I will. We'll see, depending on the topics. But when you're in a room and you host a room, you're on stage as the moderator and the person who's hosting the room. You can also assign other people in the room, whether you invited them or if they just showed up because they were interested in the topic. You can invite other people in the room to come up to the stage to level 1. Okay. Level 2 are people that are following the folks that are in the top stage or level 1. Level 3, and this is the third and final level at the bottom, is everybody else. So just an open audience, but they cannot speak, nor can the people in level 2 until they're elevated up to level 1, to the stage. Okay. So just imagine that every room has 3 levels. Now, I will say this. I know Bridget, right? Blog Talk Radio, she remembers. The thing is, and yes, thanks for sharing. I'm an Android user. I am too. So I'm glad you brought that up because that's going to lead me into this. Currently, this app is only available for people who have iOS devices. If you have an Apple device, and it needs to be a newer, and I cannot remember the version where someone that I know had trouble getting in. But if you have a newer version of an iPhone or an iPad, I personally am an Android user and I'm not switching. Thank you very much. But I have an iPad and I have a fairly newer iPad that allows me to participate. So I was able to go in, and the way that you're going to do this, that you actually get access, is you go to joinclubhouse.com from your Apple device and sign up for an account. Now, if you, and I see some other folks joining in, so hello to you. If you happen to have your address or your contact information in someone else's address book who already has an Apple device and already has a Clubhouse account, when you sign up, you're going to show up in their account as a, hey, this person is a friend of yours. Do you want to let them in? They just applied for a Clubhouse account. So that's one way to be invited, is someone can let you in because you already were in their address book on an Apple device. But the other more common way is if you as the person who has the account want to invite people, you are assigned a certain number of invitations that you can use. So when I first signed up, I kept hearing everybody say, you only get one invite, you only get one invite. So you have to be really careful and look at how many invitations you get when you first get in yourself. And if you have one, you want to think about that one person who is interested, who has an Apple device, and you know that for a fact, because otherwise you'll waste your invite. You can't take them back once you've given it out. But you can invite them by finding their name, right? And it needs to match up to the phone number for which they have applied for an account in order for the things to connect, okay? But I actually got in with 5 invitations, and I'm not exactly sure how that works. So just know, I'm telling you, typically it's 1, but there may be more invites that you get assigned once you first start your account. So I know I'm kind of skipping a little bit all over the place. How do you get an invite if you don't have anyone? Okay, so if you don't know anyone, you can, well, if you don't have anyone at this time, I'm not sure that there's a way for you to get in. If you are not already connected to somebody whose Apple device has you in their address book and they haven't sent you an invite, I'm not so sure that you can get in. But what I would encourage you to do from that question is go ahead and go get your account. If you've got an Apple device, go to joinclubhouse.com and at least reserve your account with your phone number and the name that you want. Okay? Do that. And it might be surprising to you that someone else has that. Now, what I also have seen for the gentleman who just asked me this question is I've also seen that people are doing, I'm going to call it a Clubhouse train, meaning in social groups. And some of the groups, people are saying, hey, do you have any invites? I'll share an invite. And then you got to pay it forward to somebody else. So look for those type of groups and communities as well. And hello to you, Miss Angelica. Now, Michelle said there's a back doorway. Now, I just shared one back doorway, but if you have another one, I may ask you to come on in and share that a little bit later. Okay, Miss Michelle. So think about that. Okay. Bridget says you see a lot of people in some groups giving invites. Yeah, I'm seeing that all the time, all the time. But here's the key, and this is something Michelle wrote in here too. When you give out an invitation, and this is why I'm a little skeptical about the whole groups just giving one to anybody and everybody, even if you're not connected, your name gets attached to the person that you invited. So once they accept your invitation, then your name is shown as the person who referred them. So if they start cutting up and acting a fool, it's sort of like, let me give you an analogy, because I'm in HR and have been for many, many years in my corporate life. There's all kinds of uncles, cousins, relatives of relatives who want to get a job. The first thing they're going to do when they want to get a job at your company is come to you and say, hey, girl, I know we haven't talked much, but I really need your reference for my job. So when they get fired because they were cutting up and acting a fool, whose name is on that referral? Yours. So I need you to think about your reputation and just be a little intentional when it comes to thinking about the invitation. Who you're giving your invitation out to does matter in that your name is now forever going to be tied to them once they accept it. So just know that. Okay. Another thing I'll share before we do a quick demo is, and I'm scanning for questions, so I see there's several, and I'm going to come back to those. Another thing to think about or to know is that there are also what they call hallways. I'll kind of do this. I'll navigate for you as I go through the demo here in just a second because I need to pull up my screen. So let me jump to something else before I do that. So I was thinking that it might be important for you to know why Clubhouse is relevant in this moment. Let me do that, and then we'll dive into the demo. It's relevant, and if you are an Android user, by the way, and you don't have access to any type of current Apple devices, my understanding is that they are anticipating rolling it out to Android users as well. And this whole invitation process that feels so exclusive right now may end up being more broad a little later. It's just right now they're really trying to cultivate the group of people who are in the space. Thus, the reason why I mentioned, and Michelle also put it in her comments too, that you need to be mindful of who you're inviting. I personally am very comfortable with the people that I invite. Like, I know them in some way, shape, or form. We've been connected. I know how they interact on social media. And right now, frankly, I don't want to tie my brand to anyone who is not someone that I can vouch for, whether it's value alignment or just behavioral alignment. Those things are critical and important right now in this moment, given everything that is happening. That's my personal opinion. You have to make decisions for your own self and for your own brand, but I'm really careful about that. And I'm also careful about that when it comes to the group as well, the Video VIPs group. So, okay, I did talk about the back door. Thank you, ma'am. All right. And look, Michelle, I'm putting you on blast. I was even cautious with my daughter. I told her, don't embarrass me. Yes. So just that side note. Okay. Why is this relevant in this moment? Clubhouse is relevant, in my opinion, because it is a space that was born. I don't know what the founders, and I haven't spent enough time to really listen to the seed for their idea, but I believe some of the things that I've heard of that they had some former experience with other networks or something to that effect. Here's the thing. This is why I think it's critical and why we need to pay attention. Right now is an opportunity for people that may never have had an opportunity before, had it not been for COVID and other scenarios that are taking place in the last year. Right now is an opportunity for us to engage on a deeper, conversational, human level, because people are at home, they feel disconnected. Many people are alone. They're by themselves. They haven't been out, right? They're maybe they're on Zoom, maybe they're connected in other ways, but they are looking for ways to really feel like they're talking to other adult human beings or people who are on their level. They want to connect on a heart level as well as through business. So what I'm seeing is the emergence of this thing where it is better to be authentic and real. And I've been saying this for a while now with video, but I think it's even more critical now for you to find ways to humanize your brand, for you to find ways to really connect with people, like really connect. The reason why I started the community, the Video VIPs community, is because I felt like I'd started groups before, and it was only about the focus was, okay, I'm going to teach them something, and then I'm going to sell them something, and I'm going to teach them something. With this group, my intention was I want to really know, I want to get to know the people that are here, even though it's a free space, because I needed that sense of, I needed that reminder that I'm a person on top of being a business owner and a marketer and a mom and all these other things. I'm a real person. I needed that affirmation. And I feel like the folks in my community get that too, which is why we have really cool discussions. And you can see several of them in here. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the thing. We want connection. So Clubhouse, to me, is an excellent way to do this because not only are you connecting in a talking head type of situation or two people interviewing, but you literally can have a room full of people that are chatting about a common theme or topic. And even if they disagree, and it gets a little confrontational at times, which I have seen that on there, it's still real contact. It's real conversation and discussion. And I feel like people want that and they need it right now. They need interaction. They need to be reminded that they're human and not just a face on a screen. So the voice aspect of this and the discussion aspect of this is really powerful. And so what you'll see, and let me go ahead and pull up my demo. What you'll see in Clubhouse is that the topics are really exciting and interesting. They're not just business. It's a mix of anything and everything you want to learn about, right? All right, so let's see if we can make sure this happens. I'm getting ready to pull it up on screen real quick here, and we need to put a code in, 68. Okay, in a second, you're going to see my actual Clubhouse screen, if I'm doing this right. Yes, we're going to move this over here. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and let's walk through this whole thing because I want you to kind of see what it looks like. So this is the screen. So I know I may have to blow it up a little bit so you can really, really see it. And yeah, to your point, Michelle, there's a lot of heavy hitters on there. Sure. I want to talk a little bit about that too. And Tanya, I think it's Tanya for you, even though I'm Tanya, you're Tanya. Agreed. I still have one invitation I'm holding on to. Yeah, you want to give it to people who are, you can vouch for if you needed to, right? Okay, so let's show you this, and I'm going to make it a little bigger if I can. I'm going to try to anyway. So here is the screen, and this is Clubhouse when you first log in. I'm going to shoot it over to my bio. So right here is my bio, and I've just put information about myself and who I am in here. The first 3 lines, when you first, of course, create your profile, it's not going to have anything in it, except if you have connected your Twitter account. So you can kind of see that there. If you've connected your Twitter account and your Instagram, that will pop up. That'll show up. But the rest of it is you adding in your bio, okay? The first 3 lines are the most critical because that's what people can see when they look you up as they're scanning through. It's the first 2 to 3 lines that they're going to see initially, okay? So make sure that you take real care in being intentional about what you put in those first 3 lines. So that's something I wanted to share with you. Notice that up here at the top where there's this wheel, there's additional information about how you can pause notifications. And you may want to pause. You can change the frequency and say, I want to get lots and lots of alerts and notices, or you can say very infrequent, for me, I had to kind of tone it down because it was getting to be a little too distracting. You can also choose your interest. So I'm going to show you something here that's new within the past couple of weeks, right? So when you are in this right here is called the hallway. And in this hallway, you're seeing different topics. You're seeing things that people are sharing. So these are rooms that have been created. Some of them have been created by individual people, and some of them have been created by clubs. Okay. So clubs are established. It would be like our Facebook group, Video VIPs, where I've established a group or a club in Clubhouse where I can invite people to become official members. Okay. But otherwise, most of the time, what you're going to see throughout this entire feed, and let me blow it up again, through this feed will be just general conversations that you can get access to because it's showing up. You should be able to click on it and get access to it. Okay. Now, one of the things that I found to be super helpful, and this was really useful, and I did not know, I'm going to give you two resources that if you, and once you get on to Clubhouse, two things that you want to take a look at. One is clubhouseguide.com. So let me type that in so I can make sure you have this. Clubhouseguide.com was the most helpful resource that I found, right? Because I really didn't know what the heck I was doing when I got in there. I was just like, okay, hey. In fact, I think I jumped on and somebody else jumped into the room and I didn't know I was talking on the mic, and that was embarrassing. But clubhouseguide.com can be helpful for you to get started because there's a lot of information on just navigating the app. And the other thing I would share with you is to go find Community Clubhouse. There's going to be different rooms and there's going to be certain events that will tell you how to actually start with Clubhouse, like people who are officially blessed by Clubhouse to be moderators and to help people to walk through how to use the app. So that's my second piece of advice is follow Community Clubhouse. Get in touch with the navigation or the orientation rooms. And they're at different times of day. So just scan through when you have a few minutes and you're on the app and get connected to one. Or you can go to the calendar, which I'm clicking up here at the very top, and you'll find you can choose all, oops, let me make this big. At the top, you go to calendar. So I went to the very top up here, right up there, okay? And now you'll see all upcoming events. So anything that people have coming up, and it's synchronized by calendar, or you can show the things that you've signed up for, so upcoming for you, and you can actually look at your own events that you've created. So all of that pops up here. Now get this is cool. So if you are interested in seeing something that's going to pop up for you, let's say that you have there's something that's happening 2 hours from now. What you can do is you can click on the little bell here. You can click on that bell and it adds you to get notices and alerts for that specific event. But the other thing that's cool is you can also click on the title. Let me show you what happens when you click on the title, and you will see some additional options. So this was one of the really big things that I found that was helpful. I can copy the link or I can add it to my calendar, and I can even share an event just by clicking on the title. Okay. So I kind of wanted to show you that. And then the last thing I'll show you on here, just kind of for navigation purposes, is that there is, let me find it. Okay, so when I clicked on the magnifying glass at the top, let me go back up here. When you click on this magnifying glass at the very top, this is where you can find people based on their names and find clubs. And you can also now recently sign up for alerts by topic. So if there's certain topics you're interested in. Okay, so that's enough of that demo thing. I just wanted to make sure you kind of had an idea of how to walk around it. Clubhouseguide.com is the most effective resource, but then there's also going to be people that you know that will help you to get familiar with the space. But let's talk a little bit about strategy. Because here's the things, I'm going to give you my list of things that I think I love, and then my things that I'm going to give the side eye about. So, things I love. What I enjoy so far about Clubhouse. Oh no, my feed died on YouTube. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming over to Facebook. So, one of the things that I found to be excellent is the diversity of thought and the diversity of different types of, conversations that are taking place. Because you can have all kinds of culture, you can talk about arts. And, my friend Nancy Marmolejo was talking about this earlier. She's like, she loved the fact that there were so many Black and brown and white and yellow, any type of person or ethnicity. It was a lot of diversity, and it felt like a rainbow of colors and people and beliefs. And just, I love the fact that it is so diverse. It's not just the same group of people talking about the same thing, as we see sometimes happens in silos on different social media platforms. This is really kind of like a diaspora of people. And I love that. I also love the idea that now that they've added this topics area where you can select your topics, that you literally can, you don't have to just be listening to business stuff. You can listen to things about life. You can do meditation. You can find out how to do certain crafts. You're listening to people talking, right? And you're hearing their conversations and their differences in their thinking. And it helps you to grow on a personal level as well as a professional level. Those things I love about the app. I'm loving also the ability to be able to add it to my calendar, because if it ain't on the calendar, it don't happen. So I love that idea. And thank you for following me. The thing that I would say I give the side eye to, and this is something I want y'all to watch for. The side eye, that's my side eye, is that I think that there are a lot of people, there's two things. One thing is that sometimes people jump on and portray themselves to be expert at a certain topic. And if you start listening to them really good and you pay attention, they're not really an expert, which is okay, because everybody has to start somewhere. But you have to be careful, if you are the consumer of this information, that it is good information that you're making a decision about. If you're buying something from that person, if you're making decisions for your business based on something that the person said, they need to be credible. So you need to do your homework and go research them and find out more about them off of Clubhouse. Go to their Instagram, go to their Twitter, go to wherever else they say they are spending time, go to their website, check them out, because you want to make sure you're making smart and intelligent decisions for yourself before you pull out your purse. That's real talk, okay? Secondly, I also have found, and Nancy mentioned this too, I listened to her live earlier about Clubhouse, that it's a shame that sometimes we will see groups of people who, again, we saw already congregating and lifting each other up, and they don't draw anybody else onto the stage. So I'm going to just put this example out there. If there's a bunch of males, okay, they're men on the stage, and they're talking about a specific topic. Let's say that they're talking about sales funnels. It would be more encouraging to see that they have intentionally invited other women besides just the group of males that always spends time on stage together. It would be an opportunity for them to hear another voice. The same thing with Black, white, brown, yellow people. The same thing with us. We need to reach outside of our comfort zone. And Nancy, I'm echoing you here, but I believe this too. We need to reach outside of our comfort zone if we're going to grow and if we're going to make real connections that bridge some of these gaps that have been created for us. We have to reach across. So I think that I'm going to make intentional effort to actually go and visit rooms that I normally would not have visited had it not been for Clubhouse, and just sit in the audience and listen in and see, what are people talking about? What can I learn from this conversation? What can I take away? I'm looking to see if you all have questions. So definitely let me know if you have questions that are coming up. Yes, my understanding, lots of people all of a sudden experts. I know. And it could be frustrating, right? But doesn't this happen on any social network where we have people that say that they're experts? And I'm not knocking people for saying that. Don't get me wrong, because I think everybody has to start somewhere. But I do feel that if you're going to put yourself out there as an expert, you will be tested and tried. And you need to be able to make good on the promises that you put out there for the people who are getting your information. You need to make sure you're honest and you're telling the truth. And if there's something you don't know, you need to say, I don't know, instead of pretending and making up something that could potentially be a detriment to that person's business or their life. That's the kind of stuff you're going to see, a mix of all of that, just like you do in any social platform. You're going to see that there on Clubhouse too. Okay. So just, be mindful of the people that you're spending time with in some of these rooms, because there's a lot of people who talk about 6 figures and 7 figures and millionaire this and millionaire that. You're going to see a lot of that in the topics. You have to make intentional decisions about which of those rooms you want to spend time in, where you want to take notes, because Michelle mentioned there's a lot of heavy hitters there, and there are a lot of people who are celebrities in music, in the arts, in business, you name it, health and wellness, nutrition. There are celebrities from all over that are also mingling in with us common folk. I'm being funny there, because I feel like they're common folk too. We all are humans. So I think that it's just an opportunity for you to really kind of get into conversations and discussions with people that maybe you hadn't before. The key is your intention. And so when it comes to video, because I'm still going to continue to do video, I don't see Clubhouse being my core at all in any type of near future. I just don't see that. But I do see that it is it's a creative way to drive people to my live stream marketing. So if the question is, how do you drive people to your videos using Clubhouse? One way that I'm considering doing this, first of all, I hosted at least 3, and that's the minimum requirement. You have to host at least 3 rooms, and then you can request a club in the name of your choice. So you can request to have a club, sort of like I told you, the private Facebook group, but now you have a club. So I have just gotten accepted today to have a Get Notice with video. My intention at this time is that I will go live and do kind of an after party after I do my live streams. I'm not doing it tonight because I'm spending more time with you tonight here. But I will, in the future, engage people through additional follow-up conversation about the topic that we cover in our live stream. Why? Because when I did the first couple of rooms in Clubhouse, even though it was a very small group of people, I was able to share valuable content and information that was relevant to the people that were spending time there, such that some of them signed up for a discovery call to get coaching. Some of them are going to be joining us for the Let's Go Live challenge, which we're opening it up tomorrow. It doesn't start tomorrow, but registration is tomorrow. Let me make sure I put my banner back up. And I also met people I otherwise would not have met had it not been for Clubhouse. Like, we connected on Instagram and some other spaces too. So I feel like there is definitely opportunity for you there. And you want to look at, for your own business, I'm in video marketing, as you know, but for your own business, how can you use it for professional development? How can you use it to personally develop and spend time in spaces where you can grow and get exposed to thinking that maybe you otherwise would not have had exposure to? How can you network and collaborate with people, but go in with an intention that you're going to give while you receive? Don't just go in with the intention that it's all about me getting something, me, right? Go in thinking about, how can I listen, really understand what this room is about, and then if I have something of value to share, I'll raise my hand to be brought to the stage so that I can speak out loud and ask a question or offer a comment. Be intentional about the way that you spend your time in this space. That would be my advice. So if anyone has questions or thoughts and you want to be brought in, this is only applicable to those of you who are in my exclusive video VIPs group. Look in the group and you should see, if you scroll down, you should see the link to StreamYard that lets you in for this event. And I'll just kind of look and see if I see you, and I'll bring you on stage, and you can come on either with audio only or on video, or you can simply just ask your question in the comments. So I'm going to scroll through right now and see what questions may be pending. Integrity is important. Yes. Oh, here's a question. Did you use the same bio on your other social media as you did in Clubhouse, or was it tailored? Great question. So my bio on social media is much more abbreviated and is usually like 2 or 3 lines because, you know, Twitter, Instagram, you can only have so many lines. So I have a very abbreviated bio on most of my social platforms. On Clubhouse, I'm still kind of experimenting a little bit, but I did a little bit more of a miniature sales page and really talked about my background, why I'm on Clubhouse, and then my website. I added my website link. I think I added something else in there too. But yeah, if you're on Clubhouse, go to @Tanya Smith. That's where I am, and you'll see my bio. And I have a few emojis in there and all that other stuff. But the most important thing is, if you're transferring your social media bio from some of the other platforms over to Clubhouse, you want to make sure that you're doing due diligence to use those first 2 to 3 lines. Put the information people need to know about you in those first 2 to 3 lines. Because I always have people kind of murder my name. They're not murdering it, but they're calling me Tanya, and my name is actually Tanya. One thing I did do is I spelled out the pronunciation, the phonetic pronunciation of my name in the first line so that people would know how to address me when I get on stage, right? You will find that people are looking at your profile based on your picture. Sometimes you're in a room with other people and they're scanning through the room because they're in the room too. And they're like, oh, let me see other people who are interested in this topic. And they may click on your face and look at your profile. That's why it's important for you to make sure your bio is current. One last tip that I'll give as I'm looking at potential questions is, when you get ready to, when you're in a room and you're going to ask a question, be mindful that in a lot of rooms, people get irritated when you start going into your sales pitch. So when you introduce yourself, the wise thing to do is to say, my question is, and I learned this from Wendy Y. Bailey, my question is blah, blah, blah. And if they want to know more about you, they're going to go to your bio or they'll ask you while you're on stage. But dive into your question. I mean, of course, you can acknowledge the speakers or whatever, but don't go straight into what you do and how you offer excellence and blah, 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 because that's taking up time away from the discussion. And they can easily go and see your bio and see what you're all about if they're interested. Get to your question and be mindful of the space that you're taking up in the room when you ask it, that you're not on too long because people start to tune out. Yes. And Victoria, I think Victoria just said something, but I may have lost that comment. Okay. This is a good question. Should a person new in business focus on Clubhouse, or do you prefer a podcast? Isn't it similar? Honestly, I think, this is my personal opinion. Others may think differently. I think that if you're new or not new, I think being on Clubhouse and lurking for a little bit to see the map, to get a feel for what it's like, to see if that might be a space for you, is a wise decision. And I think podcasts may be a little easier to monetize. Clubhouse, it seems like there's some workarounds you have to do to monetize it, okay? In other words, you probably need to have yourself established in other spaces if you really want to do well at monetizing Clubhouse, because there's no place on there for you, for instance, to have people go to your sales page. Like, you're going to have to say it, and you may have to say it repeatedly because it's not recorded or anything, right? But I know that some people are doing well in monetizing the space. For me, I would recommend, if you were my client and you asked me, where should I spend my time creating a platform in this moment? I'm still, of course, going to tell you video, but I'm also going to say it's good for you to to get familiar with Clubhouse and have a presence there. I don't know that I necessarily will tell you to start off by building your platform solely on Clubhouse. That's my honest opinion. Okay. All right. Well, I know I spoke for a while, and I know that I mentioned to you that this was going to be a little different. I wasn't going to do my structured 30-minute and, outline it and all that other stuff. But I hope it was useful information that you were able to kind of get a little from getting some exposure to the demo and seeing what it looks like. So the rooms are where you really have the magic happen. The hallway, where you're scrolling through and seeing what some of the topics are, is also where you can get a feel for what you might want to jump into. Like, where do you want to go and hang out? And the topics of interest area, you definitely want to choose your topics of interest so you can get pinged about things that may be in a space that you're interested in. So that's it. That's what I got. Let me see what else I have. I think that's about it. If you have questions and you did not get a chance to leave them while we're live, just type in replay, #replay. Thank you, Michelle. Type in #replay so that I can scan through and see you quickly and respond to you if you've got questions after our live. And I'll make sure I scan through on YouTube as well. I heard I got cut off over there, so I'll have to check that out. But I do have the recording and the replays available on my Facebook page. And I hope to connect to you. So make sure that you connect with me at Tanya Smith on Clubhouse, and that you also continue to, subscribe. Let me answer this question. First, let me acknowledge, thank you. This discussion was very helpful. You're so welcome. I like this. I also found out some have sold invites. I think it's totally inappropriate. Yes, I have heard the same thing. I do not believe in that type of, I think people are being taken advantage of. Let me say that. People are taking advantage because they're so desperate to get into this exclusive space. They have that FOMO, fear of missing out, that they're paying people for invitations. And I don't think that's right. I think it would be better for you to network with other people. And to my earlier point, which Michelle echoed too, think about it. So now the name of the person that invited you is tied to you forever, which maybe they don't care because they're selling it anyway. But I just don't think that to me, that's not operating from a place of integrity, because it's free to join Clubhouse. Let's be real. It's free. And they're going to be opening it up. So then do you feel stupid that you spent $100 on an invitation to a free app? Probably. Not the best way to start out. All right. Thank you, Android user friend. Yes, ma'am, Miss Bridget. Android for life, girl. But the iPad is helpful for right now because I wanted to know what it was like. You're welcome. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for attending and watching. And thanks for jumping over from YouTube. I'm sorry it cut out on you. Miss Pat, thank you. You'll get more active now. Yeah, I mean, if you're like me, I'm an introvert. You may not be able to tell if this is your first time watching, but I am. So I lurked for a while. And then I made a decision, okay, I'm gonna put my toe in the water and start a room. And then I was like, okay, I'll start another room. And then I thought, let me do one more room and let me do it with some girlfriends. So I pulled some girlfriends together, the panel that I talked about, our Business Minds group. And we have done a couple of different panels where we answer a tough question for business owners. So that was fun, and it helped me to feel a little bit more confident. Think about ways you can creatively get on there with some friends, because the more people that are on stage, by the way, the better you have attendance. I like the smaller rooms not so much the really big, huge rooms, but there are huge rooms where Salt and Pepper are in there, or Salt from Salt and Pepper, I think, was in one of the rooms. Gosh, there's been so many like really crazy celebrities that are in some of these rooms. So it's cool to listen to them. My favorite is Damon John. I love listening to him because he's so intelligent, but you can find so much there, right? But again, just be intentional about how you spend your time and don't get sucked into 3 hours when you intended to be on there for 30 minutes, because that happens. All right, y'all. Well, have a good night. Leave me any questions, any comments that you have, and follow me at Tanya Smith. And also, for those of you who are in the group, I will see you tomorrow for our office hours at 11 a.m. Central. And I'm opening up the Let's Go Live challenge. I'll put that one more time here. That's opening up at noon Central. So 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. We will open up the gates for Let's Go Live challenge for people to register and be a part. We will be starting the official event on the 25th, 10 days from the 15th. So looking forward to seeing you all there. Take care and be safe and be blessed.